All right, there's one thing on. You want to give me a voice test?
Voice test right here. This is me testing my voice.
Okay, I turned it up a tiny bit there. Ah, sleepy, sleepy, sleepy. There was great sadness in the fish tank behind me. I've had that tank for a little over a year, 14 months, and I've never lost a fish in it. One of the dojo loaches had been getting some large lumps on him that appeared to be cancerous, but he passed away. Pretty much the first fish I've ever lost out of that tank. Poor fishy. And now there's two dojo loaches that are lonely. They don't have their third friend. Let's see. Trying to get you on there. Do. Alright, now you're on there. I'm not on there though. Fishy camera. Is that it? Nope. Ah, there we go. Seems I am not on there. Where's mine? No, not that one. Oh man, where's my camera? Uh-oh. Did I lose my camera? Situation normal, people. Situation normal. There we go. But I don't want that camera on. Hey, puppy dog. There we go.
Anyway.
All right. Well, we are 1 minute late here. I guess we probably should get going. Greetings, Avatars. Welcome to the Friday stream for Shroud of the Avatar. I am your usual host for the stream, Chris Atos and Game Spears. I try to keep things moving on the project and do a little programming here and there, a little map stuff here and there, a little design stuff here and there, just like everybody. Lots of different hats. And today I have my solo partner with me right up there. This is, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Keith Quinn. I am a designer on Shroud of the Avatar. I do level design and quests and pot implementation and a bunch of other things. And I'm here to talk about that stuff. So I know a lot of times you guys like to ask Chris stuff, or ask
I just
stuff
make
that's
up answers.
Specific.
I just make up answers when they ask me stuff about your things.
Yeah. I'm currently working on the Obsidian Panopticon. I've worked on Lord Bridges' castle. I help out with spawning and stuff in places like Tangelmire and Spindleskog. That was my dog before Hero. I don't know if you people were here a few minutes ago. That was my dog.
Well, he didn't look like a pirate dog, so I guess his eye's doing better?
It's okay. His vision's not that great. So with the scratch, I guess, is sort of okay, but he doesn't really see so well on that side.
Let's see. And I am here on QA. If you have not tried QA recently, now's a good time. There's a lot of changes going in. We should have a few levels live next week for you, hopefully, if you want to go try out some stuff. We will see which ones we put live. We've got to get that guy up there in the corner. He's got to find a place for him to live on the map. My changes will be for the Rise. I'm currently running into a few technical issues, but I'll probably just punt on a few things that I'd wanted to do and put it live anyways. There's some new performance work, and it's actually on a newer version of Unity. No, not 2019 or 2020. It's 2018, but it's a 0.34 instead of 0.30. It's funny, we have Devicult on the team. I'm sure he's in chat here. But he has done Unity stuff for a while as well, and he was all excited. And you can tell he's kind of new on this because he was excited. He's like, we're going to switch to the new version. He really wanted to get on the new version. And I was trying to explain to him, it's like, it's never good. It's we never see really big improvements. But anyways, we are on the new version. We'll see. I haven't seen any problems with it, so hopefully they fixed a few things, and hopefully we can get at least a couple people on Linux and a couple people on Mac on this new build before it goes live. But I was actually here testing out some performance stuff, and I got a little bit of headway, made a little bit of improvement, but nothing that really was groundbreaking. There's, for those who didn't know, I think on a past stream I mentioned I was talking about the interior cull distance, that why weren't interior objects culling. Turns out they were, but only starting at a pretty good distance away. So I actually updated some of that. Maybe I can see if I do it here. But I actually updated the logic on some of that, made it so it can be tuned. And it updates, you can actually see there slightly.
Chris, it looks like Question Bot isn't working. I'm told.
Hold on, you're right. I did not start Chatbot. Hold on.
Oh no.
Yeah, sorry. Your questions have been carefully taken, folded up, and stuffed into the round container in the corner of the room.
Yeah, I guess you can tell that people ask their questions, then there wasn't the follow up that
Yeah, I usually start off the stream by doing a test question. And also let me thank John Marcus for 1337 bits, which means I get to sing a song later. Yeah. Thank you, Waldo. Oh, it looks like now we're on a hype train, too. Okay, question bot is up now. Let me test it.
So if someone wants to ask a question, you could type exclamation point, question, space, and then whatever your question is, and that gets added to this list that we have. It helps us keep track of stuff instead of everything just sort of scrolling back.
Okay, if you, hopefully you guys still have your questions around. Looks like Buzzkill had one. Hopefully you guys can repeat your questions. I'll try to look back at some of those things. But anyways, this is one of the things I was working on for performance, is making so things inside houses actually cull, and you can actually see there's some side effects to it. So one, it doesn't show a significant performance increase calling the stuff inside. The option was there before. Oh, and also for those people who are new, I saw a couple of new follows. You're awesome. But also for the people who are new, for every, speaking of awesome, there's Thori Kamara, Iron Hall Governor, if you're looking for a place to live. But for every level we achieve on the stream or on the hype train, looks like we just completed level 2 already. You guys are tearing through it. But we'll do an extra round of prizes at the end. Anyways, back to my talk here. So this is one of the things I worked on this week, was trying to sneak some performance out of this. And you can actually see it's got some side effects there that you may not be able to see as well as you can. You can look down here below Sannio and see what I'm talking about, because it disables everything in the house. This is what it was doing before too. That includes lights, and some people apparently have found that there's some lights they can use for some cool effects because they aren't shadow casting lights, which means that they'll just go through walls and stuff like that and give you that kind of effect that you see over on the right hand side. That type of effect. So the problem with that is then you turn off all these things, and then suddenly you lose a lot of that coolness. This guy here, you
Chris,
can see this. Yeah.
I don't know if you realize it, but there's this dark text up in the top left of.
Oh yeah, that's the. That's telling people you're on the fishy stream or whatever. Okay, there we go. Now it's gone.
Nope, still there.
Nope, it's
Fishy
gone.
video.
Nope, gone.
Oh, there you go. Okay, yep, sorry.
You're living in the
delayed.
past.
Got it.
I am living in the present.
Yep.
But anyways, you can see this guy over here downstairs has all of his stuff is outside the house, so his lights don't go on and off. This guy over here, I actually added something so if you have a glass front house or a house where it doesn't make sense for us to cull stuff inside, I can flag that house so it'll still render your stuff at a distance. But for the other guys, that's level of detail, that's not the right thing. For the other guys, you can see like there's that cool green, so you lose some of that stuff. So again, I'm really torn on whether or not I like this or not. I'll probably leave it in there just for people who want one more dial to turn for trying to improve performance in really heavy pots. But basically what this does is it'll hide stuff inside houses. Now the other part that was surprising to me is it didn't improve performance that much. I think we're actually getting enough improvements, performance help with LODs and some other stuff that it just didn't make that big of a difference. But I'll probably leave it in there. I don't think it's causing any problems. I'll just leave it in there and leave it on max quality. And also, again, I did make some improvements so people who have glass houses, those are now treated differently than others. So that part will be better, at least. But yeah, it's half day worth of work. Try and get that all working, only to find that it didn't really help that much. All right, let's see. You guys give me a bunch of questions. So I got some things to talk about here. So there's a couple of things. One is farming, agriculture stuff. So this has been one of those things that's been ongoing for a long time. This came up this week because I started cracking down on botters, which I probably should have a little talk about that too. But let me talk about the farming stuff first. So we've had for a long time some farming design choices that were probably questionable. I mean, I remember when we made them, why we made them. Again, a lot of these date way, way back to the very, very start. And it's either like, this is how another game did it, usually like an Ultima Online or whatever, or this is, it's immersive. Or reality modeling type stuff. So that's where the plant watering stuff came from. So having the plant watering, I think, is okay. The thing we're changing for this next release is your water will last 10 times as long as it did before. Actually, there's a couple things. One thing is your water will last 10 times as long as it did before, and then also there's a new key. You can hit Control W. And you have to hold it for a few seconds. I'll probably shorten how long you have to hold it. But if you hold down Control W, it'll show you, it'll put up a beacon, it'll put up a flare in the middle of any plants that need watering. So the reason it's changing, and you guys are on level 3, not quite going to make complete level 3, and it's just about done. Unless somebody goes big here right at the end. Hype train success. All right, 2 levels, that's good. But anyways, so the watering part of it, the gathering water part is what's going away. This was something that felt very, I don't know, inequitable. It's not quite the right word, but there were 2 ways you could get water. One is you could go to a water device and collect water, which was long and tedious, but free. Or you could go and you could buy water for 1 gold apiece, and that was actually the bucket price that actually did come down over time down to 1 gold per bucket of water. So again, as designers, we look at it and say, well, 1 gold apiece, that's so low, people would just do it for the convenience factor. Some people did. Some people instead would still collect water because they couldn't stomach the idea of paying, 1 gold, or, it ends up being thousands of gold for some of these people who have big farms. But what it ended up translating to was, rather than it being a choice, it was really a punishment for people who didn't go and macro or bot or try to come up with some way to do that, or try and buy water off of people who did bot. But anyways, the water gathering mechanic was extremely tedious, not necessary. There was enough hands-on things to do in the gardening with just the application of the water and also the planting and collecting. That was more than enough, and those things are interactive. There are things that are not easily bottable as well. So, again, for this next release, it's not completely gone, but the water will last 10 times as long. A single bucket will water 10 things for you. It actually is random. We don't track information on stacked items separately, and I didn't want to make it so buckets of water couldn't stack, so it's really just a random chance the server rolls a die for you, and 1 out of 10 times it'll consume it. So there's a chance you'll use 1 or 2 more or 1 or 2 less in a big load. But that was actually something somebody brought up was, and I think Keith is locked up here, was they really liked the 1-to-1 because then they could tell if they watered everything, which brought up the whole point of like, okay, well, the real problem is you don't know if you watered everything, and you're using the bucket counter as the way to get around that, because it can be tough to tell which things have been watered. You get the little wet patch at the bottom, that can be hard to see. So anyway, so the things that have changed for this release coming up is farmers should be a lot happier. One, the water will go a lot longer. You can still buy it, you can still collect it. Again, I'm hoping it's smaller now, so you guys will probably just go buy it or collect it. Doesn't matter either way. I just don't want to punish people who don't bought, is kind of the bottom line, who didn't do something to batch collect water. And again, those people do it in their basements. They do it out in streets or whatever, so it can be tracked. It's just really hard to tell because it's such a tedious mechanic anyways. If you're going to collect 1,000 water, how can I tell if you're actually collecting 1,000 water yourself or botting collecting 1,000 water? So anyways, kill it so we don't have to worry about rewarding people who are botting. There's already enough other mechanics in there that are not easily bottable. So anyways, to the botter thing. There was a change in policy for botting stuff. This is not something we felt we needed to announce in advance because we've already made it clear that botting is not allowed. In the past, we had been tried to be super duper crazy, over the top, careful about, if somebody looks like they're botting, we got to catch them in the act, and we want to go to them while they're doing it, try and catch them and verify that they're doing it, usually by teleporting to them while they're doing it and trying to summon them or something like that. Guess what? You never catch people like that, but there's people who are obviously botting. So this week I put in more metrics in one of the patches that went out not too long ago to help catch some of these things. So I build a chart and I go and I look and I'm going and checking. I am still hand verifying each person, but I'm doing it through the logs. I'm not doing it in person by teleporting to them. I'm actually looking at their actions and confirming that it's right. But anyway, so quite a few people were banned this week. The 7-day bans were up front. They're not really appealable. I'm sorry if you really, 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 really want to argue. That's kind of why we hadn't done in the past. Is anytime we banned someone for botting, we got days of hate emails saying, I wasn't botting, I'm going to go smear your name or whatever. But anyways, we're only botting or banning people we're 100% certain they were botting. I don't think we've made any mistakes so far. All the ones were super clear so far, and I could verify in person. But anyways, trying to take serious actions on botters. I know that's one of those things, again, that frustrates legitimate players and makes it feel like they're wasting their time or they're being punished because this guy's getting the same reward for botting. So let's see. What other stuff did I have? Oh, but I am continuing to do that. I'm making that... Aww. Yeah, Keith was having some connection problems there. I'll let him call me back. Hold on, let me hide that display capture. Whoa. Let's see. Again, continuing to work on some performance stuff. Like I said, I think I got a little bit of improvement in things, but there's still a long ways to go. Again, what I'm seeing in the big scenes like this is it's really, and maybe this should be safe for tech talk, but there's a lot of objects in these scenes, and somehow they have to be managed, and it's really just that managing, whether we let Unity manage them or we manage them. We just have to figure out, it's more a matter of trying to figure out what to draw in the scenes. Right now, it's not actually that bad standing out here. This is pretty close to 30 frames a second. This is my test case here. I'm not exactly sure how many total actual lots there are in this town, but it's a lot. It's a lot of row lots. And then there's also a lot of big decorations and, challenging things to render all over the place. Lots of glass fronts, lots of lights, lots of VFX. So I was using Britmart as one of my big tests. But anyways, I'm continuing to work on it. I do think I can get a little bit more improvement on things. But so far, only a little bit will be improved for this release, but you guys can tell me what you think. I'll be watching the metrics. I usually get disappointed in these things because I think I get I got 5 frames per second in my test cases, and then I don't see any improvement overall on things. Some of it I think is some people are GPU bound, some people are CPU bound. It's a little bit harder to help the CPU bound people than the GPU bound people, but gotta keep trying. Oh yeah, let's see if Keith. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Nope. Didn't work. Hold on. Oh, and thank you for all the bits coming in here. I see lots of names going by. I usually thank people at the end of the stream so I can try and focus on talking to you guys about stuff. So I'm sure you have some questions piling up. I do have some things I wanted to show. Let's see. Is this one I can show? I was starting to go through my list of questions from my Twitter feed to see what was going on. This one kind of demonstrates another one of the things I want to talk about, which is, again, balance issues. This one actually just shows the free attack. So this is... let's see. Okay, so this one here is showing the different categories of runes. So these are blade runes versus blade auto attacks. That's blade auto attacks. There's bludgeon auto attacks. Here's ranged auto attacks. Keith's making a lot of weird sounds back there. All right. So anyway, so this is one of the things I'm trying to work on in terms of improving balance for things. And this is part of why. Again, let's see, where's the rune? So right now, ranged is obviously by far the most used thing. It is the easiest thing to use. It is not super duper crazy over the top OP in a PvE situation. It is pretty powerful in a PvP situation. I think it's favored a lot in the PvE situations, largely because it's just so easy. It's so, it's safe, it's easy. People who play as, I don't have this metric up, but people who play as ranged players die far less than others. I know that's not shocking to anybody. That's pretty much how it is in a lot of games. But anyways, these are some of the metrics I've been pulling on things, trying to see where people are going. The pole arms are the lowest still. Well, unarmed technically is the lowest. And this is only the last 15 minutes. Let me check the last 24 hours. Yeah, things pretty much stayed the same. But right now, ranged, bludgeon, blade, pole arm is kind of the order of things. So I had another one here. These are coming from players who posted on my Twitter feed some questions. They wanted me to look up metrics. So that one's actually a little surprising. Let me do a longer time frame. These are some of our internal metrics tools. All right, actually these are not at all surprising. Let's see. So this is skills used, the most used skills. And again, this is another one people had requested. This is the most used skills other than auto attacks. Tame heal, of course, healing's going to be on top, but then we get into, again, the usual problem of aim shot, mind lock. Again, that's one that still surprises me that many people use it, but there's a lot of strategies out there that people are using. Thrust, rapid fire, dash, fire arrow. These are the top 50, so let me get the bottom 50. That was another question people had. And I'll get to some questions here in just a minute. Again, these were just some things people were asking. about. So summon, summon, summon. Those actually, all those summons actually show up. Chaos Bomb. I still think it's fun, but it has only been used twice in the last 7 days, if you can believe that. Blessings show up on here too. Blessings. So I think I'm going to have to go up to 100 to actually get to any... Oh, that's going to be bad. Alright, let's see if I can get this down to the point where I can actually tell. I don't think I'm going to be able to. Hold on. Oh, now it's acting all weird. Hold on. But yes, you can see the... There we go. You can see that it's pretty out of whack pretty quick. But... There we go. Now you can actually kind of see things. You guys can't really see it. But when you start looking at the lower stuff, let's see, Summon Gust Ball, Rainbow Blast, Blessing of Conservation, Cleansing Rain, Summon Reindeer, Deadly Poisons. Again, if anybody wants to, you're welcome to screenshot that right there. Looks like it actually might be legible. And check it out yourself. Hold on, let me see what happened to my partner in crime. Okay, it looks like my partner in crime says he's ready to come back. Let me try getting him back in here. Alright, let's see if it does better.
Let's see.
I was going over some metrics to stall while you were gone. There's at least one other one. Let me find image there. That is not the image I wanted to do. Hold on. Pictures, stream. This is one that I don't know we've ever really shown this stuff before. For those who don't know, we have a premium currency, but our premium currency is tradable, which was actually a very big choice of ours. We wanted to make sure that if people wanted to play, they could, and not pay anything, they could have some way where they could still play and not pay anything, but they could still have some of the premium elements in the game, which means it creates a bit of an economy because players can find them, players can buy them, but you can still sell them to other players. So we have a premium currency that is sellable, lootable off creatures, but we do have a throttle that throttles the amount of kodos that people can pick up per day. So this is one I doubt we've shown you guys before. Let me stretch that to screen. Bam. So this is actually showing the, again, I don't think I've ever shown this before. People were curious though. This is actually showing the number of kodos that were looted by players over the last week, as in taken from creatures. So this is one that it is throttled. It goes somewhat based on population. There's a few other things that go into it. And so when you find them, that's, you know, it'll show up here when they drop. We have them dropping in different ways. They can drop in small bundles and little bundles, and sometimes you get lucky and get an explosion. But this is kind of the amount. You can see the first day of the week there. I think that was maybe last Friday. No, that was last Saturday. That's only a partial day, but it works out to about 4,000 kodos per day drop. So that was another one you guys wanted to see. Let me see if I can find another one for you. This is one that had been requested before. This is the number of monsters, what monsters kill players. So not what monsters are killed by players, but what monsters are actually doing the killing. And to people who are out here, I think this is a 1 week snapshot. This probably will surprise no one that Elven Archers are tops on the list. The second guy on the list there, in case you're scratching your head about what that is That is one of the creatures from Spindleskog. So I've got some other metrics I can throw out there, but I've been watching very closely. I left the attenuation turned up so I could try and track to see where people are attenuating the fastest, so I could work on some balance for those scenes. But the scene where people balance or attenuate the fastest, get to the max experience they're allowed to get in a certain time period the fastest, is in Spindleskog on Extreme. So that one needs some balance, but that's one of the creatures that's in there, and it actually does quite a few people die in that scene, so there is at least some risk involved with it. But these are the total kills by creatures in the game over the past week. Alright, next up, I think I got one more, and then we can get into talking some other stuff. These are the scenes where players die. So, the number one times spent in scenes is Superstition Canyon. I'm sure that will surprise no one. So I was actually pleased to see the number one experience scene is Spindleskog. I was actually pleased to see that is also the number one scene for getting killed. These are player deaths in scenes. So number one playtime is Superstition Canyon. Spindleskog, though, is the number one on deaths. Tartarus is up there as well. But then the rest of these, some of them were a little surprising. Gloom was one of the ones that I did not realize was a pretty high experience scene. But if you haven't been to Gloom, apparently some players have found some way to make some big experience points in there. So I'm going to be checking that one out. But anyways, alright, that's enough stalling stuff. Let's get to some questions. I also had someone who was asking about economy stuff. And that one's a little bit tougher to answer. I can tell you the ongoing average rough rate, and it varies quite a bit, honestly. Like when Well of Alger came out, the economy changed somewhat because it was actually generating a fair amount of gold, which is something we may look at. I think we're probably just going to leave it there because it's not like 2 times or 3 times other scenes. It is a pretty high amount, but it's also one of those things not everybody can do it. It's a pretty challenging scene. But the total amount of gold that goes into the game per day is about, from all sources, is about 9 million. The total amount that went out, and this is, again, I was looking over the past month, and this has shifted, but the total amount that went out was about 7.2 million. So that is a net positive gold, obviously, going in. I think some people think that a net of 0 is what you want for an economy, but that's really not what you want. I think we do have a little more inflation than we want. We do continue to watch it, and that's one of those things that we have as kind of the gold standard, is how much crowns are going for in game. So that's one that I watch. That has continually climbed slightly. It's up in the 260 gold per crown is kind of the mean price right now. And that, again, is important because that shows the actual perception of the economy to the players, because that is tied to a real thing. We know crowns are worth money, and then we can figure out what players think the gold economy is at the time. So anyways, so those are some things. Oh, and the reason I mentioned you don't really want to have a 0 net is because there's always gold. There's always some things leaving the economy. Like if a player quits the game, he could be taking millions worth of gold with him. So there's some of these invisible sinks, so that they're really hard to track down. That's probably one of the biggest ones, is like if a player leaves the game, how much gold actually goes with them. So we do want to have more gold into the economy than coming out of the economy. Let's see. Sean has all the Kodos. You have 100,000 Kodos?
It's a lot.
That's a lot. Can you increase the stack size of Kodos to 100k? Yeah, they're at 32k right now. Stack size, I think, is 32k. I have that problem too, Sean, but I didn't pay for my Kodos, so. Let's see.
Where
Now
did
we want to read
32k come from? Is that an important technical number?
I'm trying to remember. It was one of those things. At one point, I think stack size might have been something much smaller, like 1k. I don't think it's a like an int or a short, which is a 16-bit. Yeah, I don't think it's actually one of those things. I think that was kind of an arbitrary thing that maybe Jason. Yeah, not 8
Could
bit.
be arbitrary,
it's 15
but
bits.
with in mind, like I'm a programmer and I like numbers that equate to this amount.
Yeah, I would have to look into it before I would even think about changing it. I'm not sure why it's that big. I'm almost certain it's that big because, naive us years ago thought no one would ever get that many of any one type of object.
Yeah.
So, happy that people have that many crowns, but spend them. Spend those crowns.
Yeah.
Ah.
I got a question here from the Mad Shift
Go for
Xenos. Do or will all the devs have their own in-lore NPC that tie into the main or side quests? The answer is no. I think pretty much it's only Richard's character that really ties, or not Lord British specifically, but quests sort of like revolve around him. Obviously Lord British comes up a lot. A lot of NPCs will respond to the word Lord British. Lord British's castles out there. I guess he's got multiple castles, him and Arabella, and the kids, the royal children. But I don't think it's pretty much a guarantee that all the devs will not have characters in it. We have little things that we put in. There's discoveries named after us. We might have a dog or something that's named us. We might put in characters that are kind of based on our friends and other coworkers. And actually, there's probably some scenes here and there that still have like secret signatures that players can't see. The world builders sign their work. But no Keith the cookie vendor in you. No, sorry, Sean Paxton. No Keith the cookie vendor. There is the Sannio's vanilla bean cookies coming up, but that's. Yeah, I think about it actually sometimes. Like, should we or how could we, integrate characters? But it's kind of not necessary. So we can just sort of like have the little Easter egg situations here and there. We don't really need to focus on our characters. Even Lord British, Richard plays as Lord British. We don't actually have a Lord British character you go and meet. So it seems to work out okay.
I've got a few here. Oopa the Veil is asking, is the new Unity used for 1171? Yes, 1171 is the first one that had the new Unity in it. Oop is one of our super testers out there. In fact, Oop, you'll be happy to know, like the other day I did a build and the Windows build finished fine, the Mac build finished fine, the Linux build failed for the QA build. And of course, then everybody was like, oh, you can't do that. Oops, not going to be able to test if you don't get the Linux version out there. So, but yeah, so 1171 was the first new build on that version. I see something here that makes me, again, sad that we haven't talked more about this. I'm trying to think if there's what we can do for it. But yeah, every year I think this comes up. Sean Butts brought it up this time as pot upgrade sale on 420. Yeah, we don't do a 420 sale. We've got pots and we joke about it internally, but I'll see what we can do. I'm not sure what we can do. Maybe we can do some like pot housing sale or something. Pot deeds. I'm not sure. I'd have to look at the upgrade internal stuff because I think that may be a code on the server type thing. I'm not sure, but I'll see if we can do something, Sean.
There's a couple other pot questions since you brought it up. Lord J.J. Oliver says, can the deed upgrades be rebalanced? Upgrading Pot Town lot to Pot City lot. I believe it's the same price nearly as buying a brand new Pot City lot.
You know the answer? I know the answer.
You might know it better. I checked in our chat, and Elgarion said we could say that fixes are coming. I guess he's aware of something, but maybe knows something better than just that simple response.
So we'll be adjusting prices to fix some of those things. That's one of those things where the prices evolved over time, and usually when that happens, in some situations, game design that evolves is good. when it's stuff like that where it's pricing and it should be like, here's the chart, and it should be exactly, we should be able to know exactly what the value should be. Some of those things just evolved poorly, or they were, we changed the price in one place, didn't change the other. Algarion has been amazing in going and finding some of those things, but he is adjusting the prices of everything, and they'll slowly be rolled out over time. So we will be rolling out the first nudge in the right direction on those guys, I think, in this next release. So, and we'll roll it, even them out a bit more each release. We didn't want to do it all at once just because some of them are really big changes. But yes, I agree. I know some of those are just way off. So if you wait 2 weeks, they'll be a little closer to where they should be.
You say 2 weeks, and that makes me think of the original Total Recall. The mask was going on. 2 weeks. No? Anyone?
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No, I know. Let's see. I just keep seeing you with your headphones on, and you've got the thing that clips. So you keep having you've got like these buns on your side of your head, and you look like the Star Wars guy from like...
Yeah. Lobot?
Yeah, the Lobot guy. Yeah. Let's see. Amanita Shroom asks, will we get some more decks soon? That is one that I can probably cram in for this release. The thing that needs to happen is I need to get it moved over to QA for some testing. Again, I just worry there's sometimes we gotta, sometimes it's an easy number change of let me change this number from 10 to 20. But then, as I've done that in the past a few times, sometimes I change that number from 10 to 20, and it works fine in my test, and then it doesn't work fine in somebody else's test because, they've got 80 cards in every one of their decks, and, there's some overflow internally. So, yes, let me get that on QA. That one is an easy number tweak if it works. If it doesn't work, then it's much harder. We'll see. Making a note. Hold on.
There was another pod question, which was, I lost it. The Manard asked, can we still upgrade our pots with Kodos? Yes, you can. One way you could do it is you can email support@portalarian.com, and they'll walk you through the process. Or you can send a forum PM or Discord PM to one of us, probably Elgarion. It's probably the best connection.
Elgarion's the guy to go. But yes, you can upgrade them through Kodos in game, and I would suggest talking to Sean Butts, because apparently he has all the Kodos. Yep. Let's see. Crossfire Bug's Eye, can we get trees? Hey Crossfire, has your connection been pretty good lately? I know Ravlox is working with you on stuff while I'm here though. Can we get trees to drop a minimum of 2 or 3 wood? Recipes require a ridiculous amount of wood. A simple mailbox requires 48 trees. Holy cow. 24 with scraps if you don't count meticulous. Let's see. I'm not sure why they dropped so few. I know that the wood input into the economy is one of the smallest things, and it's also one of the things that's hardest to find. I think it's managed this far, like it hasn't been a problem, because not as much stuff uses wood as some of the other, ore and those type things. So it's a less use. So I think it's kind of balanced out. But yeah, some of those recipes probably need to have a look at them. Again, as I mentioned, continuing to plug Elgarion, that he's been doing amazing stuff on that. That may be one that he takes a look at in the not too distant future. I do know we're aware that it's an issue though, that it's less than perfect. Let's see. Please make go ahead.
I was going to say, here's a softball one from the Mad Chef of Xenos. Mm-hmm. Is the correct pronunciation of the city Janiford or Yaniford? It's Yaniford with a ya. And by the way, it's, according to Richard, Sultan and not Soul Town. Sultan.
Soul Town! We all said Soul Town.
I kind of made
to
fun
try
of some of this pronunciation stuff with Tangomeyer. If you talk to any of the locals about Tangomeyer, they say your accent is terrible, and they try to correct you.
I have one here that reminded me of another thing to talk about, which is Waldo Ptolemy asks any progress on the problems with NVIDIA RTX 2000X and 3000XX. I have not made any progress on those things. I have not come up with any firm repro situation for them, and I can't repro it locally. So I'm not sure. It doesn't appear to be a specific driver issue. But again, any information I can get. I've seen other people complaining about it, that there's some issues going on with some other games, and I'm wondering if it's like maybe if you install the NVIDIA panel and you have something turned on that we don't like. But that stuff isn't exposed to us on our end of things. But if you're somebody who has one of those cards and you've seen some performance issues coming up lately, you might try going and tweaking some of the built-in settings in the NVIDIA panel. That reminded me another thing you guys probably saw. I did the rare mid-release server downtime. Only took it down for like 5 minutes and tried to do it at one of the low times in terms of player count, so I don't inconvenience too many people. But that was to try to deal with some ongoing extra connection problems. We had some people who were dropping, and I could see it in the number of a certain type of disconnect people were getting. The server doesn't look overloaded in any way. The lag time wasn't there. So the one thing, after somebody said that they were having disconnect problems, and as soon as they did the next Windows patch, it was after they did one Windows patch, and Windows released like 2 patches pretty much within days of each other. When they did one patch, they started having more connection problems. When they did the other patch, they stopped. To which I, of course, said, that's nonsense. You know, if you want to believe that, you can, but you're crazy. Well, then I pulled the metrics on who is disconnecting. And if I pull it for Mac plus Linux for disconnects, they're pretty much flat. The line is flat, and you can't even tell like where disconnects start getting more and less. I pulled it for Windows, and you can actually see the line of, there's a big spike in the middle of it. So it was only Windows people having more disconnects, and it seems to have gone down. I don't know that restarting the server fixed it, but that's kind of one of those standard tech things is, have you tried restarting it? That even goes for us. I hate doing that, but it seemed worth it just because I couldn't come up with any other explanations. But there actually seems to be some correlation. Again, there's correlation, whether it's causation or not, but there's a strong correlation between whether you're a Windows user and you were having connection problems. Now, we're not talking about, horrible disconnect, can't play the game type stuff, but there were a few people who were having problems, more problems than others. I know at least one person who was in Canada and had a decent ping time was getting disconnected, every third scene change or something, which is way worse than it was, but still not quite sure what it is, but the number of disconnects has returned to a pretty normal level again, so hopefully it's all good. Hopefully.
I got a fiction question from the Mad Chef Xenos. He asks, have monsters like kobolds, fauns, and elves diversified enough since their creation to be considered a unique and self-sufficient species? So players didn't know when the Cataclysm, pre-Cataclysm, some of these creatures didn't exist, and then or humanoids. And then after the Cataclysm, the Obsidian Eye was this big sorcerer guy. He sort of tried to take over the world, and part of the way he did it was he converted humans into these other species, like humans became elves. And I think what the Mad Chef is asking are, do elves, I guess, propagate on their own, or do they need to be converted from humans? So I don't think we've said it anywhere, but in my mind, they are their own species now, and they continue. Like, we see elf children, so I think an elf man and an elf woman, when they love each other, they kiss and then they have kids, just like in real life. That's how it works. And I think probably the same would go. I don't know at what point we might lock this in the game, but I think the same probably does go for trolls as well. Kobolds Kobolds sort of have a weird thing because they have a contradiction. There's some stuff that says that they existed before the Cataclysm, which means they weren't Fomorians that were converted from something else. But then there's something else that says they were experimented on. So my headcanon agrees that they existed before the the Cataclysm, but there were some that were experimented on kind of like at the end of the sort of like, let's figure out how to make elves and other monsters kind of thing. Like maybe trolls were first, and they're the most rugged, and elves were a little bit more refined, and then kobolds maybe were done sort of like at the end of that time frame, so that they can keep a lot of their intellect. But I don't really know how that actually works into the story yet, if it even will ever work in the story. But then in my mind, there's a little bit of that maybe in there. We'll see how that goes. Trolls are definitely the sexiest, says Bridge Troil. Maybe so.
I have one here to read off and answer and give an update on something, which is Gaylorn Hammerthrow has a question. My 2 practice dummies just disappeared last night, but we're still in the deco palette. There's still a couple of issues left. For those who don't know, we have a new programmer on the team, Devil Colt. He's an old player of the game. You can cheer or hiss for him as you desire based on whether or not you liked him in game before, but we like him as a programmer. But one of the things I kind of called it throwing him into the fire or throwing him in deep end, but it's really more like I threw gasoline on him and set him on fire. I had him tackle a problem that had been there for a long time, which is the practice dummies. Well, Gaylorn Hammerthrow says he had 2 practice dummies that just disappeared last night, but we're still in the deco palette. So, Devil Cult is still working on a couple of issues. There's a couple of rare random issue type things. I know that sounds like one of the ones he's already fixed that should be fixed on QA. And we'll push it out with the next release. I just didn't want to push out a patch on one more thing for one more training dummy when it was only hitting a small number of people. But that one had to do with just some weird ID generation for how IDs were generated, where it'd come up with a 0 ID. And it was all based on where your lot position was in the pot. If you were very close to 000 Loke in the pot, then you could have this weird problem come up. So hopefully that'll be fixed in the next patch for you, Gaylorn. Again, I haven't heard of any dummies really vanishing. They're just like what you said. They'll go to the deco palette or they'll vanish temporarily until you come back in zone. But we should get those improved a little bit for next release, I think.
Yeah. I want to add one thing to my thoughts about the in-game lore. I reserve the right to ignore it or contradict everything I just said before. Nothing's locked in. It's just in my mind. Maybe it's something like that right now. Tomorrow it might be something completely different.
Speaking of Devil Cult, I think I talked said enough good things about Algarian. I got to balance things off with Devil Cult. He is working on the recipe book and adding some search features to the recipe book.
That's exciting.
That is exciting and long overdue. That is a pretty clunky piece of code, so right now there's still some more problems to overcome. We'll see if he can get through them. It'll be better if he can, whether he fixes the last couple problems with it or not. But it's already better. Hopefully he can get the real stuff fixed. But it's just kind of a weird, again, it's one of those things where it was kind of an early on immersion book where it tried to make it really immersive. And the more immersive you make a book, the less functional it is when you're talking about trying to look through hundreds of items, as you guys know.
I wasn't sure if I should add this, but he said in the chat, so the journal too, the search feature he wants to add to
right there.
The recipe, he wants to also add it. Oh yeah, there you go. He wants to also add it to the
let's see, Polearm?
Quest journal, which would be awesome.
So this is the thing he's working on right now, is he's got, it basically shoots you to the first one, and then you can go through them from there to get to the other ones, but it's still showing some of the ones it shouldn't be showing. So again, these things are weird in that they're laid out in the book. They're not like generated on the fly, they're like laid out in advance. So, but anyways, he's working on that. Hopefully he'll get it to a completed state. But yeah, for anybody who's
may
suffered
look different.
through this,
don't get too attached to what you see here. This is a proof of concept, I guess. It'll probably look pretty similar, but
yeah, same thing for quest logs and some other stuff. So hopefully he'll be putting that kind of magic all over a bunch of different stuff. Tina, yes, that's the other thing that we had talked about doing, was just reorganize the book, get rid of all that, the crazy stuff in terms of how it's laid out, because it's like laid out great. It's got chapters and then it's got all this stuff, but people rarely go and just browse here. I mean, they can browse at the table, they can do that type of stuff, but yeah, it's just not functional as it is. So we're going to change the layout of it. If we can't get this part done, we'll change it so it's just alphabetical, but there's still more work to do on it.
There was a question from Radicus2A. He asked, you guys never finished the NPC town's unique NPC backstory and names pledge reward. I was waiting for a certain town to pick an NPC to customize. I was pretty sure that Lum announced a long time ago that we were done doing that. But if you were waiting for something, if you want to send me a PM to Sannio in the forums, give me your character's backstory and tell me what town you wanted, and if it works, then I'll let it in for you.
Ooh, I like this. Mad Chef of Xenos, and this is something that I'm looking at. That I am looking at some more economy drains, because reducing the amount of gold paid for water for agriculture makes up about it's about 4 or 5% of our total gold sink in the game. So I'm going to be looking for some more things to find to put on there. One of the things I've considered doing, since we already have some crowns to drop in game, and apparently if you want crowns you can just buy them from Sean Butts or whoever else, but taking a few of our low price, highly used consumable for crowns and actually putting them on a few vendors just for high gold value. So like maybe the book for unlearning, the small one that's normally 300 crowns, putting that on a on a merchant somewhere for like 100,000 gold, just to create a gold drain and see how that does. Oh, but I was mentioning that because the Mad Chef of Xeno says, has any consideration been given to a Kobold watering system that would be a reliable watering mechanism, but would cost more than watering itself? I don't think we've talked about that. I wonder if people would like that, if we had something like, basically just a big mechanical looking thing that you could go to, and instead of having to go and hand water, 100 beds, you could hit it and it would make some type of rain effect play, and charge you based on how many plants it watered, 2 gold per plant or whatever, rather than that. So yeah, so that would be one. I think we could totally consider that. Yeah, I like that idea, and that would be another one again that would bring back. While it is totally unfair to have the some people bought water, some people pay for water thing in there, and it's a tedious mechanic. You shouldn't have to bought water or hand collect water. Yeah, I'd like to have something that replaces the gold sink that was creating. So yeah, I kind of like that, and that would be good. You could pay for it, pay a little extra, to do all the plants, just for convenience. Water your entire lot at once.
Furford asked, will any more Easter eggs be added, like in Celestis? I'm not sure what was in Celestis that you're talking about. Are you talking about like the there were like all these like Asian movie Easter egg locations, I think, that Seawolf put in there? Maybe that's what you're talking about? Samurai movie references? Yeah. I do put in Easter eggs. I'm not sure how much Travis puts into his stuff. I do put in, not usually like real world references, but I do put in like kind of like lore references here and there. So we definitely have not stopped doing it. We will put it in as the whim hits us, and whatever feels appropriate for the area. Can't think of any off the top of my head that I put in. I mean, there's Easter eggs like, there's a mini spoiler, like in Tanglemire, some people have found that on this super high rock that is really hard to get on, there's like a little picnic area for some reason. Yeah, that's an Easter egg, not necessarily a real life reference like you're talking about, but that is something. So we put in those like secret little fun things here and there. Jay Nord points out there's a whole forum thread on Easter eggs. I love that thread. Love it. It's one of my favorites.
All right, I'm trying to get some prizings going here.
Yeah. There's also the Easter eggs, as in the players who was super into translating the poorly transcribed lore letters, that the Amulet of Testimony transcriptions in the Well of Alder. There were 5 of them, and they had these sort of like hints as to whatever some like ages old backstory was. So players got it in this sort of bad Latin-ish kind of form, and then the players are super eager to translate. So that's Easter eggs that sometimes I work on.
Sorry, I'm working on the prizing here. Looks like I got 2.
Nice.
Let's see.
And what's the phrase? How do they get the prizes?
Oh, it's too late for that. There's no point in telling them that. It's
I
already done. It was on the screen for a long time.
I was disconnected.
All you have to do is go in-game and somebody's shouting it every 3 seconds, so. Let's see. I think number 3 and 4 are coming up, though. Tino O'Neill asks, have we considered that we as players have no idea how many buckets we need to do the watering? You probably don't, but that was actually one of the pieces of feedback I got when I mentioned changing up the watering to just consume a bucket 10% of the time, was some players said, no, do not do that, because I need to know how many buckets I've consumed so I know if I've watered everything. And it's somebody, I think he said he had like 4,792 plants or something like that. So, anyway, some people do know how many they have, and they want to make sure they get them all.
Yeah.
All right, I think it finished them. I'm just waiting for it to spit out the other prize bot, or the other prizes. Let's see. The Sometimes Lurker asks, will mutilator bears and warp spiders be tameable soon? We get a lot of those questions on when will something be tameable. Beezus is usually the one who hooked those up. He actually, I just saw this morning, he said that he mostly finished the new creature that's going in, so he may free up on some of that stuff. Elgarion has been working with him on a lot of crafting stuff, so he's been busy on that, but I know you guys like the tameable stuff, and yeah, I'd like to get some warp spiders in there. They probably will not be above the destroyer. They'll probably be, the tier 15 or whatever tamed pet. Your pets are super powerful, by the way. Not you specifically, I'm just saying players in general. As I go and I watch how people do stuff and where people are, where they're fighting. Let's see. I didn't spit out a prize in. Hold on, I gotta do at least one more. I may get an extra one come up there. But don't give out prizes for them. I know you're listening. Talking to Delaney. Let's see. Trying to read Luxnet. I built an anti-bot script for 5M and Red M for Red Dead Redemption Grand Theft Auto. If you'd like some assistance, I'd be happy to build one for you. Feel free to send me a DM regarding this. Has to go to bed soon. Maybe. Again, this is not one of those things that there's no exact science to it, unfortunately, because while we might think that, we can be smarter than the botters. Well, botters have been people who bot, and some of these guys look like they were serious long-term botters. They've had tools that have been refined since Ultima Online days for doing some of this botting stuff, so it really is one of those things where it's an ongoing, escalating back and forth thing that I would really just rather avoid having that. But if maybe there's some magic you have, but again, it's kind of a back and forth thing between what they do and how we counter it. And sorry, I'm distracted right now. I'm trying to figure out why our prizing is only spitting out 2, although I've hit it multiple times now.
Is it just backed up? Is it gonna pop out like a bunch in a second?
Yeah, it may, but I think it's getting we're on Python 2.7 rather than 3.0, I think. and it has some problems with some string stuff that has been fixed a few times, but it always finds a new way to break. I can always go and snag them. I'm gonna try running it again. But yes, Laney, it may just spit out like 10 rounds of prizes. We're doing 4, the first 4 only. I'll try and delete them. All right, let me get a few more questions answered here while we wait. Yeah, the Mad Chef of Xenos, you already answered this, but do the devs have their own lore? Yeah, Richard has his own lore. You know, Star has a little bit of stuff going on. People keep asking why I'm not in game, and I keep telling them, well, maybe I'll put something in there. But yeah, I haven't had any desire to try to insert myself
Your dog's
into the
in there.
storyline. My dog is in there. I should probably get my fish in there or something, or Maxine or something. But yeah, no, I'm not in there. I keep threatening to do something sometime, but
My mom's in there.
really,
My mom and her siblings. They're the refugee. Most of the refugee kids. Kitty in the Sultan refugee camp. That's my mom.
you made your family refugees?
Yeah. Her and one of her brothers are refugees, and her sister and the other brother are in Sultan.
Huh.
And it's based on her. When you talk to Kitty about Freckles the horse and you learn the happy dance, that Freckles the horse thing is based on a real life story that my mom told when I was young.
All right, I'm going to give the prize name 2 more shots here, and if it doesn't work, I'm going to have to do it the hard way where I go and I hand copy it out. Hopefully it will not make Laney's life too hard. Let's see. Waxman, since the color changing dye is still causing disconnects, are you going to do away with the dye? I did not know that was still a problem. I thought that had been fixed long ago. Anybody want to speak up and say that that's still a problem? Because if it is, I'll make it so it's an option so you can disable that dye. Your face is a problem? Son of a...
Love that type of response.
Let's see. Let's see. Do you look at the distribution of looted kodos per player? I have looked at it to see how they fall. There's no one real player. The same charts I made before, I've made charts so I can see, like, is there one guy who's got the secret to it? But really, the way the system works, I can tell you guys just because it may help you understand some of that. The way the system works is we put crown drops into lots of different stuff. It's in a lot of different, like it's in supply bundles, it's in a lot of different chests, it's on a lot of creatures tier 10 and above. I mean, you guys know where if you've played a lot, you've probably found a fair number of them. You could probably know where you found them. But the way that works is we put them into the bundles. When it gets one of those, the server creates all the loot, and basically the server says he's supposed to get crowns with this. Has it been long enough? You know, are we over our quota for the last, certain amount of time? And if it isn't, then it includes them. You know, if it is, then, it doesn't include them. So really, they're out there enough. The luck of the draw, it's not like, go kill this one spider in this one scene or kill this one dragon over and over again and you'll get lots of kodos. It's really anywhere, and you just have to be the lucky one who gets it on the time. And it's not like a start of an hour. Don't think you can go at 4:01, quick, go kill everything so you can get the crown bundle for this hour. It's not that type of silliness. It is really just an amount of time that is random since the last time one dropped, basically. So, but anyways, that's how they get out there. So no, there shouldn't be a way to farm, and I've checked it before, and that's, there's some people who are in the, a little more than some of the other guys, but it's probably just, they got the most shots at a loot bundle that had it. Did we get another one? Did it work?
No, I don't.
All right, I'm gonna have to hand copy over the prize. And do you see any questions there you can answer while I copy over this stuff?
I did not see any. Someone quick, ask me a question that I can answer.
I've got the sheet has actually got quite a few questions. I should probably copy those over.
Something about quests, lore, player-owned town stuff, implementation, level design, new levels coming up, new maps. I don't know. What else do I do?
Yeah, well, how's your map coming? I hadn't even checked to see if if it'd been spawned yet.
When will we see an NPC town in episode 2? So we're doing NPC towns differently. So Tanglemire is officially an NPC town. We're not going to be putting player lots in these towns. So that's what the difference is. An NPC town in episode 2, it will be a cluster of buildings with some NPCs. There'll be some crafting stations and some shopkeepers and some quest lore and a little bit of a buffer zone surrounding a town. And then toward the edge of the scene will be some dangerous things that can happen, like crocodiles or whatever in Tanglemire. So that's how we're doing those NPC towns.
All right, almost done with this, and then we can read some prizes.
And then Mad Chef follows up with, so all those placeholder towns on the world map will turn into adventure scenes. So there'll be the same sort of thing. There'll be like a relatively safe area, which is the town proper, and then on the outskirts there will be some mild adventuring flavor, like Tanglemire. So yeah, it'll be that way.
Okay, I think I'm ready here.
Okay.
All right, this is going to be like super duper confusing, so you get to read the prizes today, and then I will read off the names.
Okay.
I can do it.
All right, so we're doing it now?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so the first prize is the Bolton Maroon Leather Chesterfield Sofa and Chair.
And this is going to 4 people, thanks to the kindness, and I need to go thank those people too, who helped push it over 2 levels, up to 2 levels of Hype Train. Fetid Sir Diddy. Oh, Maxine. Sorry, dog was sleeping and someone came in and stirred him. Anyways, Fetid Sir Diddy, Omni, Jack 6666, and Oakenhammer. Okay, next prize.
Next is the White Lepus Mask. Is that how you say it, Lepus?
Yes, I think so. That's how I say it. I don't know how you say it. But that goes to Sarah Ravenwing, Blaze Garsink, Lord Argon, and Danian. Next. Next
is the beloved Flower Crown,
which goes to Lucian de Morte, Yukoneri, Danian again. They can win twice. We'll give them the second one there. And then Crafter.
All right, prize number 4 is the Thorn Wand,
which goes to Teen O'Near, Gaylorn Hammerthrow, Supernova, and that's silly, and Supernova. All right, I'm too tired to argue with it. We'll
is that really what it is?
That's really the same person won it twice. Some of this is probably screwed up because I did like the 5 that went in the trash. So you may have won and didn't actually win, but you can't prove anything.
So our screw up is his benefit, I guess.
Because he needs 2 Thorn wands, 1 for each hand. Last one.
Yeah. Last is the Spring Fountain with floating candles,
which goes to Azurion de Fresney, Manufactured Soul, Arenddoom, and Soda Boo 0881. Congratulations, guys. And sorry to Laney there. I know that's hard to read down there, but hopefully you can figure it out. Oh, who am I kidding? She's probably already got them all delivered. All right. I am tired. Is it okay if I just go straight to bed now?
Sure. Does straight to bed mean you go to bed for like 3 hours and you wake up and start working again?
Yeah. Gervy MG asked a question here that I'll answer real quick. Is real economy trading legal? I'm not sure what he thinks here. So is he suggesting that anything that is bought with real money couldn't be traded in game? Because I think that ship sailed long ago on a lot of different stuff. So yes, it is real. The things that are not allowed, you can't have in-game gambling on stuff that's like you, for buying stuff, you can't have raffles based on money, which is why we don't do you have to buy something to get in the prize drawing we draw here. And I think there's also, there's probably some things that would come up that would cause serious problems if you try to do turning that anything in-game back into money, at least through us. Maybe you can sell your account or whatever to a website or whatever, but yes, real economy trading is legal. I don't think that's a very good term for it, though. And I see Pipester asked about stacks of 100K. You can buy 32K at a time, but 100K would be nice. Again, I'll look into turning up that number. I'm not sure why it's 32K. I don't think there's a legitimate reason. I think we send all that stuff as 4-bit. Should be able to go up to 4 billion or 2 billion. But I'll try turning that up and seeing what happens. I'm not sure why it's stuck at 32-bit. I'm pretty sure that we don't just use 15 bits of precision on it. Hold on, I'm reading real quick, see if there's anything I have to answer here, but I think we're probably done.
Eric Rules, is that mining / canyon scene in Mr. Ender still a thing? And I said yes, but it's been delayed. Does that sound correct?
Which one? Oh, the canyon? Yes.
The canyon that you want?
And again, we kind of evaluated things. It's actually started. It actually looks pretty cool. It needs a lot of work to finish it, as outdoor scenes tend to do. But that's one of the things we looked at early, and we were kind of trying to push, I think, trying to rush things and work on new content over bug fixes. And that's kind of when we reprioritize things. We'll switch back to working more on new content, but right now we still have a lot of polish and a lot of bug fixes, a lot of stuff we want to do that we think will make the game better. A lot of balanced stuff. Yeah. I mean, it's adding a new scene when there's stuff that's as unbalanced as like the Spindle Skog, where you can get 12 million experience points in 30 minutes versus other scenes don't even come close. So fixing those balance issues before we cram in a few more scenes is taking top priority. Fixing bugs is way higher priority. Improving some UI, improving some polish on some things, much higher priority. So the canyon scene is there. It will happen. It's going to be delayed until at least later this year, though.
And to be clear, Travis and I will still be working on scenes. Definitely Travis more than me. I'll be supporting him with his stuff, and also working on I don't want to say lesser scenes, but with smaller scope than what Travis's scenes are.
Hold on.
Like the Obsidian Panopticon.
I'm searching. Somebody said they ask a question a million times and we never answer it. Am I happy to be here? Is the first question he asked. I don't know. Hopefully. Can recipes on vendors be colored to indicate if we've already learned it? Oh, that's a good one. Or is it one we haven't learned yet? That's a good one. I'm not sure what the difficulty in that would be. Some of these things, it seems like it should be easy and like just do it, but some of it is like, well, the server maybe needs to, we need to have the server get information from the server or and match it up with your server or your data locally. But that doesn't seem like one that what recipes you've learned.
We've all been there, though. It seems like simple on the surface, and then you start digging into it, and you're in a big rat hole. Like, oh my God, what are all these spaghetti strings coming off of this nonsense?
But yeah, there's going to be some color coding stuff coming up for UI stuff. I started working on color coding artifacts based on rarity, but that was when I started working on it. And right now, Elgarion is in the process of redoing pretty much a bazillion things in that category of stuff. He had like 4,000 files checked out last I looked. And that's he actually was talking to me last night that he was having an error come up that he didn't know what it was in, and he had 4,700 files checked out and he didn't know how to find the error, and I was trying to help him with that stuff. So But anyways, so yeah, that's one that color coding the artifacts is going to be one that I do. But yeah, color coding recipes, whether you have them or not, or just graying out the ones you have would be great. So good idea, and I'll give that a definite maybe. But as you might, I might have mentioned, we do have someone who's basically doing nothing but fixing up UI going forward, and he's working on it now. So more likely to happen now than it would have a couple months ago. I see Crossfire Bugs Eye ask, can we get a village-sized glass storefront, open floor plan house? Yeah, we haven't done any new houses in a while. We've got pretty much swamped with trying to get new creatures and new maps and stuff. Yeah, houses are one of the things we make money on because they're purely a visual thing and convenience thing. So, and you can get a village house, you just can't get a pretty village house sometimes. All right, well, I think we probably, we're 19 minutes over here, and I am exhausted from a long week and getting up early. Probably showed today on the stream, but I think we're ready to go here. So let me find somebody to raid. Did we do everything? Oh, we need to answer. We need to do the Elgarion stuff.
Oh, yeah. Do you have
there's
that?
not that much going on in the Elgarion stuff because he's moved most of his contests to be monthly rather than weekly, I think. He was doing the weeks. Oh my goodness, Shaner Niner. Oh, that's what I need to do. I need to go and thank some people. Let me start with Shaner Niner. Holy cow, Shaner Niner. Thank you very much, bud. Super, super kind there. If my prizing was still working, I'm going to go ahead and do one more prizing. Laney?
What?
Laney, did you already give out the things? If you didn't give out things for out of Shane's, I think they know they can do this now. They catch me late with a big contribution, and I thank them there. I'll try one more. We'll see if it works. But let me thank a few more people here, and then we will go raid someone. So Shaner Niner, man, thank you. Jay the Dwarf, thank you for the follow. Badfast, thank you for the sub. U235 Sentinel, Lord J. Oliver, One Blood Omen, thank you guys. Waldo Ptolemy, Submarine Mike. Waldo for 5 gifted tiers, 1 subs. Thank you. Introvix, thank you. Radicus 2K, thank you. Sean Paxlair, John, I almost forgot the most important thing. Oh look, now it's going to work. I'll just read this one off real quick. This is the bonus giveaway for Shaner Niner being incredible, being an awesome dude. And I will also continue to think on the 420 sale options we might have. I've heard that's actually a myth. For those who don't know, 420 is like supposedly code for pot, and supposedly it came from police. That was like the police code for it, but I've heard that's a myth, so I'm not sure where 420 came from. The Bolton Maroon Leather Chesterfield Sofa and Chair goes to Parsadal, Sir Doll. White Lepus Mask goes to Smoke a Lot, Drink a Lot. Flower Crown goes to Bar Brady. Thorn Wand does not go to Supernova. It goes to Jolene Sedai. And Spring Fountain with Floating Candles goes to King Joe Dalt Colts Fan. Yeah. Alright, so yeah, I don't think we have to tell you about any prizes that were won. I know there's a lot of events coming up this weekend, but I didn't get a list of them. Yes, and I see Lord J. Oliver no, the Ringmaster Vest cannot be enchanted. That is known and that is being addressed. That's, again, I mentioned Elgarion is taking a huge pass over all of those things, so hopefully he's going to have that fixed up for you. I know there's at least 4 or 5 in there that every time I do it.
I just shared that specific note with him just to make sure that it's high up on his radar.
Yeah, that's good. Sean Paxler just gave the background for 420, where the term came from. Let's see. Someone's saying raid for Revenant. Let me see who is out there. And I'm sorry for being off my game today, guys, but I'm tired. It's been a long week. Let's see. Oh, this is going to be tough. We got Revenant. We got the Graceful Bard. We've got Crispy Car, and we got Serpentwine there. I think
Shaner Niner still giving out subs.
It's. I think it's still. He's not giving out more, right? It's still being.
Is it?
Oh no! He gave out one more.
It's another one.
Mother. Apparently, somebody missed one. And we got Serpentine. Those are all three amazing people there. I'm just gonna do a roll 3. Do. That did not show up. There it is. A 2. A 2 goes to the one people said to raid, Revenant 84. We will be raiding Revenant 84. I gotta find a song to do though. I just want to sing.
Oh, what?
Oh, come on. Oh, he's making all you guys look bad there. He's trying to see if it works. I'm not going to do another round. I'm punishing Lainey every time I do that because she's already finished up. You're awesome. You're amazing, though. Shaner Niner, you rock. You got a song request, Shaner Niner? Let's see.
Gave a tier 1 sub to Community of the Avatar.
Shaner Niner says, maybe a band?
You're a good egg, Shaner Niner.
Toss a coin to your Shane. Oh no, I don't. I've made fun of that song, but I don't think I actually know it. A Grease song. For those who are just watching the stream, I usually torture people. If somebody gives me 1337 bits during the stream, I will torture them on the way out. By singing them a song while we wait for the raid to hit. Let's see. Alright, here we go. I'm taking the Grease request there. Let me see. What is that sound? Oh, it's playing an ad for me. Thanks. Alright, guys. You're welcome to skip out early if you want to. We'll see if I can do this one. I don't think I've done any Grease songs here before. My mom used to sing a lot when I was a kid, so you can thank my mom or blame my mom for this stuff. But we are going to be rating Shaner Niner. No, not that. Or not Shaner Niner, Revenant 84. Why is it doing that? It won't let me raid. There we go. Weird. Alright, we're loading up there. Lots of good people out there to go watch. Again, if you want to hear someone who can actually sing, the Graceful Bard is out there. You can definitely go to her stream. Next time, Sannio and I will do a duet on some song from Grease. I got chills, they're multiplying, and I'm losing control, 'cause the power you're supplying, it's electrifying. You better shape up, 'cause I need a man, and my heart is set on you. You better shape up, you better understand. To my heart I must be true. Nothing left for me to do. You're the one that I want, the one that I want. Ooh, ooh, ooh. The one that I want, the one that I want. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Scooby-Doo says I used to like this song.
Wait, where did all the viewers go? Why did my viewer count go down so much, or so suddenly? Guys, again, be safe out there. We're going to raid Revenant 84. A couple other people out there. If you want to hear some real singing, again, the Bard's out there singing, and probably in costume. Guys, be safe. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Well, a week. Release in a couple of weeks. It's too late. They're gone. All right.
Lord J. Oliver said, I don't know what a sound a cat makes when it's being crushed, but I guess it didn't help.